Hi, I'm Ruben Saltzman with Structure Tech Home Inspections, and today we're going to find out if running your garbage disposer without water is going to ruin it. Okay, before we get into the test, let's settle whether we should call it a disposer or a disposal. Back in 1935, GE trademarked the term disposal. Well, okay, I'm saying it wrong. It's disposal, but they ended it with ALL, as in it disposes of all. And I think nobody else could call their devices a disposal, so they just dropped an L, dropped the registered trademark thing from it, and the term disposal caught on. Now, me personally, I like the term disposer. It feels like a more official term and less brand name-y. But if you look at the packages for all of these, I'm going to call them disposers, okay? If you look at all the packages, they all say disposal. But then if you go in the use and care manual, they use the terms interchangeably. They say disposal and disposer all over the place. So which is right? They're both right. There is no right answer, but I'm going to call it a disposer because I prefer that term. Okay, back to the question. Growing up, if I would ever turn on that disposer without water running, I would quickly get scolded saying, "Don't ever run that without water." And I'm sure I've taught my kids the same thing. Every good parent teaches their kids, don't turn on your disposer without water because you're going to ruin it. I mean, 3 or 5 seconds of that thing running and you're going to burn the motor out. You need water to cool it down while it's running, right? Not really. If you look at the manufacturer's use and care guides, and I've read them all, they all give you the same reasoning. They do tell you run water down there, and they tell you run cold water down there, but they say the reason is to help make sure that your drain doesn't clog. And they want cold water because it helps prevents the fats and oils from, melting into hot water. They want them to stay solid to help better clear out your disposer and the drain line. And depending on the manufacturer, they'll tell you to run water for another 15 to 25 seconds along with the disposer after you have cleared all of the debris out of there. And they all give the same reasoning. It's to help prevent clogs and to clear all of the food out of that thing. That's why you need to run water. But what if you accidentally turn it on and it's empty? Is this going to be a problem? Are you going to burn out the motor? Well, I did a little bit of side-by-side testing. I tried running my disposer for 3 minutes straight with no water in there. I know, scary, right? Did it for 3 minutes, got my infrared camera, and I recorded it. And as you can see, I'm speeding this up. You don't want to sit here and watch it for 3 minutes. As you can see, the temperature increases by approximately 28 degrees on the hottest part of my garbage disposer on the outside of it. That's after 3 minutes. So I turned it off and I let it sit for about 80 minutes. I figured that should be plenty enough for it to have cooled down entirely. Turns out it wasn't. It was still about 7 degrees warmer than it was when I had started the first test, but I was impatient. I wanted to do the test again. So I ran it again, and this time I had cold water running into the sink the entire time. Now here's where it's delightful. The temperature increased by almost exactly 28 degrees again. So as far as I'm concerned, there's no difference of running water or not. It's not going to fry your garbage disposer. And the reason that I was confident to do this test and run it dry for 3 minutes is because one time, many years ago, probably a decade ago, when my kids were much younger, one of my kids accidentally hit the switch on my garbage disposer. And I think I had ended up putting him down for a nap. I'm downstairs in the living room, I'm doing my thing, and I heard this whirring noise and didn't think much of it, but eventually I came to check on it and I realized my garbage disposer's been running for at least an hour now, dry, and with no ill effects. Never burned the motor out. The thing lasted until I sold my house and I moved on to the next house. I mean, it lasted me for several more years. No ill effects. So bottom line is, You're not going to wreck your disposer by running it dry, but if you are using it in the purpose that it is intended for, if you're trying to clear food and debris out of the drain, do run cold water and do run it for a while after all of the food has audibly cleared out of there, because that's going to help flush everything down the drain. Answering the tough hitting questions today.
Disposal?
I'm Ruben Saltzman with Structure Tech Home Inspections. Thanks for watching. Take care.